So I'll get going. So today's workshop is the last in our Owning Your Own TPD, and it is about recording your professional development. So the idea that you've worked really, really hard to professionally develop, but what do you do with that? So we're going to have a little look at that today. Welcome, Chica. It's lovely to see you here. If you could put yourself on mute, and then if you've got something to say, please feel free to unmute yourself or to put your hand up, either or. So today we're going to list the benefits of recording your professional development, look at action plans, look at portfolios with some real life examples and how to complete them. Now, I know that most of you have completed Teach 2030 courses because I know your names and I know them really well. So hopefully this is really familiar to you, and this will just support what we talk about in Teach 2030 and in the Teach 2030 courses. So we know, and you know, and you've already told me already all about the courses that you're doing to professionally develop. So Moses has attended a Teaching at the Right Level course. Shibangi's updating her portfolio. So we know the importance of teacher professional development, and we covered this in last month's workshop. We talked about expanding your knowledge, developing your skills, keeping everything up to date, boosting your confidence, advancing your career, connecting with other teachers, keeping learning. But how do you remember the information that you have covered? How do you do that? If you learn all these things from all these lovely courses, how do you retain that information, and how do you actually prove that you've learned something from it? Because we've talked about professional development in the previous workshops, January and February, about how it can develop your career. But how do you do that unless you've got evidence of it? So that's the focus of today's workshop. Again, feel free to comment at any time. So what is the importance of recording your professional development? Why do it? So in the present day, so thinking about just us as teachers today, while you might have a head teacher who says, oh, Moses, can you tell me whether you've hit this teaching standard? Lots of countries have different teaching standards. We talk about the Cambridge International Standards here at Teach 2030 and how our courses help you to hit those. And your teacher, you might have a head teacher who asks you about the teaching standards. So it can provide evidence today and here and now. It also shows that you are motivated and willing to learn. If your head of department comes up to you and says to you, listen, Shibangi, can you prove that you're motivated as a teacher, and you can show a record of your professional development. In the future, it also is a great way of showing future employers that you are organised and that you have a clear outline of your interests and capabilities of a teacher. And it's useful to reflect on what you've learned and document evidence of your studies for further education courses. So it might even help you prepare you for interviews. As you know, because you've all attended workshops before, after the workshop, you get post-event materials. And we have a teacher scenario this month that demonstrates how the teacher portfolio can be useful in interviews. So being organised and recording all of this teacher professional development is really important for yourselves. Again, any questions, type them straight into the chat, put your hand up. Please feel free to speak. There are only a few of us here today, so you're absolutely happy for you to comment at any time. Okay. So what is a teacher portfolio now? Again, feel free to type into the chat, do you keep a teacher portfolio? When was the last time you used it? What did you put into it? In the Teach 2030 courses, we talk about the teacher portfolio. And a teacher portfolio is a record of your achievements and your progress as a teacher. And all of our Teach 2030 courses suggest that teachers who are interested in developing professional development should keep a teacher portfolio. And it's a valuable way to record your ongoing professional development. We've got a lovely quote here: when teachers select an entry for their portfolio, not only do they have to think and discuss, but they need to write down their ideas and reflections. What's really interesting about the teacher portfolio is I think that we all have good intentions, and it reminds you the beginning of the Teach 2030 courses what the portfolio is. Please keep a portfolio. But what's really interesting, and I think for this workshop, because I know so many of you have done our courses before, is how often do you actually maintain it? How often do you look at it? Because it can be something that we look at once and then just forget and ignore. And one day we throw the dust off it and think, oh yeah, I started that and I never finished it. So it's quite important. When was the last time you looked at your teacher portfolio? When was the last time you engaged with it? Feel free to write in the chat. That's absolutely great. Any comments? I know Shibangi says that she has updated it recently. Excellent, Shibangi. Thank you. Any other comments? You're currently working on it. Lovely, Shibangi. And how are you finding it? Feel free to, you can unmute yourself if you want to, Shibangi, and tell us a little bit about it. I'm happy with that if you want to. Yeah, very motivating. Why so? Do you want to talk, Shibangi? I mean, I'm happy for you to remain muted, but if you want to, you can tell us a little bit about it. Moses, I'm not taking much time to update it.
Okay, so hi, can I speak?
Yes, of course you can.
The teacher's portfolio is really motivating me. Whatever certificates and the work which I'm doing, whenever I look at them, it makes me that yes, I'm developing some skills. I'm just moving ahead. So teacher's portfolio, putting all your achievements, your certificates, your lesson plans, whatever, innovating new things you're putting into it. Whenever you look at that, it will always motivate you. So it is very, very useful tool for every teacher. And you can also our organization, schools, colleges, we all have the teachers portfolio, but the Teach2030, which they have given us outlook, and they have taught us how to make our own teachers portfolio, is very useful.
Is there anything you're finding challenging that you'd like to ask me about, Shibangi, about the portfolio?
No,
or do you feel happy?
Really, because everything has been there in the training. When I training, different trainings, every time there was the concept of the portfolio, and each and every was very clear. I have downloaded the points which how I have to make, what are the things which I have to put inside my portfolio. So for me, it's very clear, and I can understand everything in the training and how to make my own portfolio.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for those comments, Shibangi. Again, feel free to unmute yourself at any point.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's great. Yeah. Moses, feel free to talk to us about it. It's absolutely fine if you want to. Tell us a little bit about the updating of the portfolio. Go for it, Moses.
Okay. Hello, Alex.
Hi, nice to speak to you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I missed the last workshop. And basically, I've been trying to have time to work on the portfolio, like basically do a document on that. And I've not really had the time. So I wish I was part of the last training. It would have really helped. However, I'm going to look forward to materials from this session towards how to actually organize my portfolio. I'm seriously sharing what could be my portfolio, things like your basic details, records of quiz attended and competition. But I'd like to see, are there other things I can add aside these 10 items on this list? Also, talking about keeping records of trainings and workshops and PPD. can we also get digital documents from your platform to help us update our portfolio? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, Moses,
okay.
this is going to appear for you in your post-event materials. So after this workshop, you're going to get an email from us, and in the email it will outline this document for you and what to put into your teacher portfolio to just remind yourself. It is at the beginning of every course as well, but this one it will appear as a free downloadable after the workshop. So hopefully you'll find that helpful. And I think it's really important what you're saying, Moses, about the fact that you've got to have the time to do this. And it can often be quite difficult to find the time. Teachers, we're all really busy. And creating a portfolio is even more time consuming and when we don't have time. But, you know, it can be something that you do quite slowly. And you might not do everything all at once. You might be somebody who does do everything all at once, but you can also work slowly through this as well, Moses. So I hope that helps.
Definitely.
Thanks. That's great. Thanks, Moses. So as Moses was saying, we'll have a little look at, I mean, this has been up on the board for a while, so you've probably had the chance to read it. But there's a few things, I'll just read the titles and have a little look at them with you. So all about me, so who you are, previous job roles, that can be quite important. And again, when you go to interview, because you've got a really clear example of who you are and what you've done. Your teaching philosophy, so what are your goals, reasons for becoming? It might not be very long, it might just be bullet points. It might be as short as bullet points. It doesn't have to be those complete sentences. Workshops and training, again, what I would do if I were you is have the date, have a little grid with the date, the name of the workshop that you went to, what have I learned, something like that. It can be as simple as that, something really, really, really simple. So the name, the date, what have I learned. Evidence of change and progression. So examples of where you change your teaching practice. Lesson observations, a lot of us have formal lesson observations. Lesson observations, if you're using and you've got a learning partner, you could also put some of that ideas in there as well. Lesson plans and reflections. So I think that one's quite evident. Assessment, record of learners' assessments to help monitor progress. So if you've got examples of that, that's something great to put in so that you can say, look how much progress a lot of my students made. Professional development action plan. We're going to talk about that in a minute, about the areas that you'd like to improve. And subject knowledge action plan. So topics you're confident in, areas that you want to develop further. And then any personal interests. So it might be if you've seen some nice posts on social media about teaching, anything like that, newspaper clippings, that sort of thing. Okay, Chica, thank you. I've known about teachers' professional development, but I'm just learning about teachers' portfolio today. Would like to know more about it and utilize it. Is there anything else you want to say, Chica? Please feel free. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. If you want to say anything further, please go ahead now. That's absolutely fine. Don't worry if you don't want to. That's lovely comments, Sanjida. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll assume Chica doesn't necessarily want to talk, which is, oh, hello, Chica.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, thanks so much. I'm enjoying the lesson, and I was excited actually to learn about the teacher's portfolio. Even though for me it's the first time I'm coming across with the phrase, and I decided to learn more and actually to make use of it very much. Looking at the 10 outlines on the screen, I already find it very rewarding and guiding for my teaching development as a professional teacher. Thanks so much.
Wonderful, Chica. Please feel free. I'm always open to being emailed. So my email address, I'll put it on the bottom of the screen in a couple of minutes and into the chat. If you've got any further questions, do please feel free to email me. I'm absolutely happy to help you. Okay.
Okay, I'll do.
Okay, so we talked about action plans, this idea number 9 of action plans, and our courses cover this. And in our courses, what we have are downloadable action plans at the end of all of our courses. What would I like to improve? Why do I want to improve it? How will I do it? When will I review my action plan? So in other words, it's, look, I've learned this from the course, but what? I need to now try and implement it. So it's a plan of action. It's a way to try to implement change in your teaching. Now, this is a real life example that we've got, and it's, forgive me if I don't pronounce his name correctly, but it's from Swarup, and he's a teacher in India. And this is what he said was one of his action plans that he submitted at the end of his course. He said he wants to, if we just take one of the rows, give the students the change to do more practical work. Why? This will increase the students' practical skills in the subject. How? Provide real world cases and projects in the subject. When will I review my action plan? Monthly. So it's having a look at when are you going to revisit your action plan? When are you going to, because ultimately what you're trying to do is embed something new in your teaching. And when are you actually going to change? How are you going to? So have a think for me. How will this action plan help Swarup to continue his professional development? How do you think it's going to help him, and how might it help him for the future? So I'll keep reading this out. Please feel free to write in the chat any of your comments. How do you think this might help Swarup? So his second one, give the students group assignments. This will increase the students' ability to do research and discover other things that are related to the topic and subject. How will I do it? Provide the students assignments relating or in the subject, and he's going to do it bi-weekly. How might this help Swarup? Encourage the students to use the time, to use the class time efficiently. This will give the students the ability to discover and learn more topics in the subject, and he's going to go to class on time to cover the subject topics, and he's going to do it bi-weekly. So let's have a look. Sanjida, an action plan is a document that lists what steps must be taken in order to achieve a specific goal. Absolutely, absolutely. And what's really important is that he remembers to look back on them, and you can tick them off. Or you could put a lesson plan in, for example, of when you tried to do that to show that you really, really tried to embed this change. And if you include that lesson plan, then that's going to go under number 6 as well. So Moses, we were talking about not having much time to do action, to do teacher portfolios. That would be a really good way of filling in a couple of the sections all at the same time. So you could provide a lesson plan to do that. Absolutely. Any other comments? Okay. So we are approaching the end of this workshop. I have gone over, which I'm sorry about. I know we're supposed to keep it to 15 minutes. I think most of it, to be honest, you're all, the plan will give Swarup a comprehensive guide to reviewing his progress based on learner-centered learning. Thank you, Moses. That's brilliant. That's a really great comment to make. Thank you so much. Now, let's consolidate what we've learned today and have a little think about it. So, it's vital to record your professional development so that you can prove yourself to be a continuous learner. This will help you with your career progression in the future. Keep revisiting your action plan. It can be hard to remember to do, and it can be hard to find the time, but it is worth it. Part 2 of any Teach2030 course is currently free when you use the code Teach2030.com, Teach2030. So all you do is visit Teach2030.com. There is no catch at all. You can absolutely take part 2 of any course for free. So you'd get part 1 and part 2 all for free. Okay, so do please feel free to visit that. My email address is at the bottom just here, astar@commonwealtheducationtrust.org. If you do have any further questions, you want to ask me anything more, you need me to check anything or have a think about things, please do feel free to email me. Okay. Chica, an action plan is a document containing a predefined step-by-step guide and to a given course in order to achieve an intention or a set or a goal. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chica. That's absolutely wonderful. That's great. So we're at the end of our workshop for now. If you want to continue your learning, please feel free to join us again at our workshop. We actually have a Q&A live on Sunday afternoon. It's at 3 p.m. We've never done a Sunday one before. That will not be me presenting. That will be you and your chance to ask any question at all. You can sign up for it for free on teach2030.com, or what you can do is you can actually just join us live on Facebook, whichever one you prefer. But I will be here and I am simply going to be answering any questions you've got on professional development at all. It can be anything really straightforward to what is teacher professional development, to anything more complicated about a specific problem you've got in the classroom. So please do feel free to join us on Sunday. It's Sunday at 3 p.m. UK time. Okay, 3 p.m. So it's exactly the same time as this workshop, but it's just on Sunday. We've also got another Q&A next month as well, and we've also got 2 workshops next month. So we're stepping up our interactivity. Please do bring along another 4 or 5 people. We would love to see more people at these because we believe in these little snippets of pedagogy. It is live on Facebook. You can go to teach2030.com to sign up. Absolutely. So teach2030.com to sign up, or you can have a look at our Facebook page and just go through via Facebook. That's absolutely fine to do it either way, but it's this Sunday at 3 p.m. And next month, like I said, we've got 2 Q&As, 2 workshops. So keep your eyes open for those. You'll get some promotional materials about those as well. Okay. Any further questions and thoughts, please feel free to write anything down for me. Okay, thank you so much everybody for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you found it really useful. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, lovely to see you all here, and look after yourselves. Take care.
Take care too.
Thank you. Bye bye.